Welcome to another episode of Rennch. On today's show, if all goes well, we will be blasting some paint off of the Blasphemy build. Hi and welcome back. Behind me is a 1969 Porsche 911S, which I've just spent the last 2 years restoring into the body you see here. The problem thus far is that it still has all of the paint that the previous race car person put all over the place. Between that, all of the different welding and fabrication I've done, the body and paint is a complete mess. And what I want to do is get this thing one step closer to being able to be primed and then the final paint job applied. So to do that, we've got to remove all of the rust, all of the paint, all of the stuff in all of the nooks and crannies, and that's not an easy task. Last night I spent hours and hours and hours removing coolant lines, oil lines, fuel lines, body panels, bumpers, wiring, anything you can imagine off of the chassis of this car. And that is because I really want to get the frunk area and the rear trunk area completely stripped, sealed, and ready for primer. I also have to do the bottom of the car, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. It's either going to be a rotisserie that is on the way, or I'm going to try to literally lift it with an engine hoist just so I can get underneath. Now, I'm not sure if you guys saw in the last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, my new business called Fresh Steel, which uses high pressure water with recycled glass to blast paint down to bare, fresh steel. So I'm going to be doing that exact process on this car so you guys can see it. What we need to do now is, you'll see that I have painter's tape all over the car. Now my dustless blaster will shred through that painter's tape. So what I'm going to do now is go over the entire car with Gorilla Tape in the places that I've already used the painter's tape, and that's going to protect the existing primer from getting shredded by the blaster. I'm then going to remove the doors, and hopefully with a little help from one of my friends, get the car out back to where the blaster is, and I'll see if I can get this thing fired up without notifying Karen the neighbor or anybody else while I'm going through the process. Incidentally, I've been listening to The Dark Tower by Stephen King as I've been working on the car. I'm on book 2. I don't know if you guys have read it, but if so, what do you guys think of the Dark Tower series by Stephen King? I'm told the movie was absolute crap, but the books are supposed to be some of the most epic books that Stephen King has ever written. I'm really enjoying the first 2 so far. And if not this one, what are you reading or what are you listening to right now? Let me know in the comments. Now, one thing that's pretty cool about the blaster is that it's pretty precise. So I can usually put just like one edge of duct tape on it, and I don't have to go by it. Like it'll actually stay within the confines that I'm trying to stay in, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to go over the car, all the edges, so that when I'm doing like the interior here, I'm not blasting through the primer here. All right, gang, I am fully taped up here, and I took care of a couple other things while I was in there. There was an aluminum piece here on the dashboard that I got rid of. I've aired up all the tires because I have to move it. So next thing is to get the thing down. Then we're gonna try to move it to the back, jack it up, and try to get rid of at least the top part, my front shocks, wheels, front part of the suspension. If I can, I'll just take the whole front suspension off. All right, so I've got the car in the side yard here, and I got to pull the tires and wheels and the suspension so I can get to the front end here. If by the end of the day I can get this thing pulled and get this thing shot, I would be so happy. I don't think I'll be able to get to the rear. If I am, then awesome, but we'll see. So this is the first time since I've owned this car that I've taken any of the suspension pieces like this off. Look at that thing. This thing is hand fabricated. Isn't that cool? I will be polishing this back up. I always try to reassemble everything the second I take it off so I remember where it goes. Man, everything here just needs to be re-lubed and redone. Feels pretty good though, overall. All right, so I'm pretty much ready. Everything's stripped off the car. The timing is not ideal. It's this really quiet time in my neighborhood. As you guys know, whenever I seem to hit record, 19 planes fly over me, and then there's lawn care and leaf blowers. None of that is happening right now. It's like you could just paint flowers right now. So I'm going to disrupt the neighborhood pretty good. My truck is here in my little side yard, but the actual process of spraying is pretty darn loud. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just see if I can hit the front trunkle area here, or the frunk, and I'm going to call it at that point. And then if that is okay, then tomorrow I can work on, you know, doing the rear engine compartment and maybe the inside. Right now I'm trying to get a rotisserie so I can turn the car on its side and do the underside, but just having this part done will be a gigantic win, and I'm hoping I can do it.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, la, 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 la. And I'm up again.
Look at that bad boy, guys. So right now it's in its fully raw form. There is media all over it. It's still wet. I'm going to hit it right now with the pressure washer and get all of the sand off of it, and then give it another coat of the rust preventative, which is in the actual media itself, but it's always nice to double up on it. But just look how nice, and well, we'll see. Let's see when it gets dry, and you guys will see how great it looks when it's like dry, fresh steel. All right, here we are back in the garage. I decided to bring it in the garage and dry it off. I didn't want to just leave it sitting outside. And it just looks awesome. It's just pure white steel. The main goal for me was to get rid of all the white. If you see a little bit of red, which you do in some of these spots, that's fine. That's factory paint, which means it's really, really on there. So the plan is I will go over this entire thing with just a DA or just quickly sand it with like 80 grit just to get the thing nice and smooth. I may do a little bit of body work in some of these spots, you know, put a little fiberglass filler in there and then prime the entire thing. I still have to do the interior. I still have to do this hood area, all of which is very challenging when you don't have a rotisserie. So if I can get that together, I will be all set, and this thing should be fully in primer in the next couple of days. All right, I'm wrapping this thing for the night. I am stoked on how this thing looks. It really does smooth everything out. It looks like such chaos when it had gold and rust and primer and green and rust and metal and rust. And now that it's all metal, it's dope. Can't wait to prime it. I'll see you tomorrow in 3, 2, All right, pardon my shadow. So part of the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing today is that before this thing got raced, they rattle canned some white spray paint on everything. Actually, I don't think it was spray paint. I think it was single stage, but very little prep. It doesn't stick very well, so it's chipping off everywhere. What I would love to do is be able to, at the very least, get rid of the white so that when I decide to put primer on, I've got like this factory red base. All right, I'm ready. I got the machine loaded. I got the car ready. I decided to do this kind of multiple glasses and face shield today because I got so much sand in my eyes yesterday. And I just kept, because when you do an interior of these things, it comes right back at you. Like it just comes flying back at you, which is such a bummer. So it's helpful to have a face shield, but it just gets dirty so fast. So I've got a rag and I got a bunch of pairs of glasses just so I can swap them out when the time comes. But let's send it. I think we're gonna have, you know, the whole front took about 30 minutes yesterday. I think probably about the same for the rest of the car. I just think the front's pretty complicated. guys, here we are. After about an hour, I have a completely and utterly stripped car. Look at that. So what I want to do here is put the rear suspension on and get this thing out into the sunlight. Being in the sun and letting this thing dry quickly is paramount to preventing more flash rust. Looks so lonely sitting there. But we have a totally stripped car now. It looks awesome. Probably looks worse on camera than it does in real life. A little more spotty, but trust me, it's all nice, bare, clean steel. The whole interior, the engine compartment. Anything you see that's like a little red is factory paint. I'm not worried about it at all. So this thing is going to be ready for primer in just a couple of days. Well, that was an insanely productive couple of days. I got a ton of cleaning up to do, and I've got to get the car into the garage, but I'm actually going to let it dry a little while so I can get the majority of the sand off with just like a brush. In a couple of spots, I hit the bare metal with a little bit of acid that converts the rust to zinc. So that's happening. And otherwise, I've got like a little bit of body work to do, a little welding here and there, but this thing is going to be ready for priming in the next couple of days, which I'm super excited about. As always, thank you guys for watching. You guys rock. Hope you enjoy this journey as much as I do, and I'll see you next time.